Welcome to Object-Oriented Programming. This is lecture number 3. In this one, we're going to be making a mutator, an accessor, and a facilitator. So in the previous video, we showed you how to make a header file. So let's just jump right into it. Okay, so you already know how to get to this point. If you've watched the previous videos, I show you how to get here. So from here, we're just going to continue on. So let's go ahead and include some of the libraries that we'll be using. Let's include IOStream, and this is a library of common input output commands. Now we're going to be using namespace std semicolon, and this places std colon in front of all common commands. Okay, so after we do that, now let's see. Now let's go ahead and create the header file. So right click on header files, highlight add, then click new item, select header file, and here we're going to be creating C rectangle. Okay, so here we're going to type in class C rectangle. This will be open twisty, closing twisty, and it's very important that you put the semicolon here. If you don't, it will not run if you call this. So here we have class rectangle. This rectangle must match C rectangle.h up here. Here we're going to type in public colon. Then we're going to type in private colon. And here we're going to create our default constructor, which is C rectangle, open paren, closing paren, open twisty, closing twisty, / this is your default constructor. Default constructor. Now let's go ahead and create the partial or the full constructor. C rectangle, open paren, closing paren, open twisty, closing twisty. And in here, for the parameters, we're going to add double A, comma, double B. And those we will use for our, well, first off, this is your full constructor. So A and B are the values that we're going to insert into C rectangle from your main file. So here we're going to say, since we're dealing with a rectangle, we're dealing with length and width. So we're going to say length is equal to A semicolon. No, that's not how you write length. And then here we're going to put in width is equal to B semicolon. Okay. Now here we're going to add our private member variables, and you can put these in before you enter these in, or you could do it afterwards. Doesn't really matter. So I'm going to write double length semicolon double width semicolon, and these have to be spelled exactly the same, otherwise you're going to have problems. So we've created the default constructor, the full constructor, and now we're going to make the mutators. Mutators. Let's see. We're going to start off with, we want to set the length. So let's do void set length double A and then this will be open parentheses, closing parentheses. And here we're going to say length, or we're going to assign a to length. Now we want to make the mutator for width, so we're going to do void again, void set width double b open parentheses, not parentheses, twisty, open twisty, closing twisty, and then you want to say width is equal to b semicolon. Okay, so now we have the mutator set up. We have the one for length and the one for width. And what happens is over here we're gonna say double a comma b semicolon, and these are your variables that we're going to play with inside of this part of the program. But here in the header file, the reason you're declaring length and width in here is because here you're gonna be using length and width inside of the header file to do whatever you want, and over here you're going to be using A and B. So the reason they do this is for encapsulation. You want to have some things that are just not touched inside of here, and you only want them to be changed or whatever they want to do over here. So over here, now we've created the mutator. Now we want to create the accessors. So accessors start here. Accessors start here. Now we're going to do double, and this is going to be get length. Open parentheses, closing parentheses, and this one we're not going to add any parameters into here. So the open twisty, closing twisty, and now we're going to write return length semicolon. After this, we're going to write double get width, open parentheses, closing parentheses, open twisty, closing twisty, and then here we're going to say get width semicolon. Oops. Now that's the accessors. So we've made the mutators. These are both the mutators, and these are both the accessors. Now we want to make the facilitator. Now the facilitators. Facilitators start here. So the first facilitator always has to be the easiest. So since we're dealing with length and width, I think the easiest thing we could deal with is the perimeter. So we're going to call this one perimeter. And we're going to solve for the perimeter. Open parentheses, closing parentheses, open twisty, closing twisties, and here we're going to say, oops, right there, return, and then we're going to say, now we want to solve for the perimeter. So the perimeter is length times 2 plus the width times 2. So we're going to say 2 times the length plus 2 times the width semicolon, and that'll give you the answer for the perimeter. Next, after that, we want to do double area, open paren and closing paren, open twisty, closing twisty, and in here we want to say return. Now for the area is just the length times width, so length times the width semicolon. And that'll give you the area. So, but again, over here with the perimeter, another thing you could do is you could actually take out this 2 to simplify it. You could say parentheses the length plus the width parentheses, and that'll also give you the perimeter. So now let's see. So we've got the facilitators for the perimeter and the area. We've got the accessors for the length and the width. And we've got the mutators for the length and the width. So now let's go back in here. And now here we're going to, the first thing you have to do is you're going to say C rectangle, then C, and this could be whatever you want it to. I'm just going to type in C me. semicolon. And this sets CME as a class type C rectangle. And you'll see what that means in a second. But before we could actually do that, we actually have to include our header file into our main program. And this is what you're going to do to tell the compiler to do it. You're going to say pound include, and then double quotes because it's local. You're going to then select rectangle H and close it out. And this includes your header file. Your header file. Okay. So now, let's see. Okay, so after that point, now we want to, let's see. So we want to set the value of length. So we're going to say CME, and then we're going to come down here and set the length. Set length, open parentheses, closing parentheses, and then here's where you're going to set the length. So we're going to call it length of 10. Semicolon. Now we're going to do CME dot. Now we're going to do set the width. So now we're setting the width, and we're going to set the width to 2. Okay, so now we've set the length and set the width. So now we want to say cout, and then we're say let's go \n \t. The length is, and then we're going to do CME dot, and then we want to get the length. So get length, open parentheses, closing parentheses, and we also, so right now, so far what I did is I'm going to print out to the screen the length is, and then it's going to get me the length, which will be 10. So now we also want to print out to the screen the width. So the width is semicolon, and now we want to print out the width to the screen. So CME dot CME get. Oh, no wonder it's not working because I have this here. So CME dot get width, open parentheses, closing parentheses, and now that's going to print out the width to there. Now we're just going to move it down a bit. But actually I don't want to move it down like that. I want to stop right here. And then, just for neatness sake, I'm going to type down here cout \n a few times. And that's just to move the press any button afterwards away from from the program, just to make it look a little bit neater. So, okay, so now let's go ahead and compile this. And it failed. Why did it fail? Missing list, rectangle, get width, function, call missing, argument list. Okay, so we have a problem here, and if you notice, it's right here. I wrote get width, and you can't do that. When you're doing this, it has to be double get length, and then you're going to place return, and then you're going to return this value. And so here's where we had a slight error. So let's fix that. Return, and now my program should run hunky-dory. So let's come back over here. Let's compile this one more time. Okay, now it's succeeded. So now the length is 10 and the width is 2. That is exactly what we typed in earlier, 10 and 2. Press any key to continue. Now we're going to continue. So now we're going to continue, and we're going to write a little bit more. Now we want to print out to the screen the perimeter and the area. So we're going to do cout, and this is going to be \n \t. The perimeter of the rectangle. Rectangle is now we want the perimeter of the rectangle. So now we're going to press CME dot, and then it's just going to get the perimeter. Where is the perimeter? It's right there. Open parentheses, closing parentheses, semicolon. And now we're going to print out the perimeter. And now I want to do the next one, which is the area. So this is going to be double quotes, then backslash. Okay, so now we want to print out to the screen the area. So now let's say cout, and we want to do the area. So we're going to do backslash n a few times, backslash t, the area of the rectangle is, let's see, now we're going to do c me dot, why is it not doing it? Oh, that's right, look. I have two double quotes here, so you can only have one. Now it works. So now let's go down there, highlight area, and don't forget your two parentheses and semicolon. And now it's going to print out the area. So now let's go ahead and run that. Okay, so the perimeter of the rectangle is 24 and the area of the rectangle is 20. Is that correct? Well, let's see, perimeter is 2 times the length, 2 times 10 is 20, plus 2 times 2 is 4, so 20 plus 4 is 24. That's correct. The area of the rectangle is just 10 times 2, which is 20. That is correct. So there you go. This is how you would create a program to calculate the perimeter and the area of a rectangle. Here is the header that we used. Let's see, this right here is the mutators, and these are for setting values. And accessors, and these are just for, these are for getting values. And facilitators, these just make calculations easier. Well, basically they do some sort of coding that's I guess helps or aids or facilitates in your program. So here I wanted to get the perimeter, and over here I didn't want to type the perimeter every single time I want to solve for it. So here I could just call this function, this method, perimeter, and any value I enter into it, it'll just go ahead and give me the perimeter. So it doesn't matter what rectangle I want to solve for over here. I just set for the length and the width of whatever I'm solving for. In this case it's a rectangle, and it'll solve it inside of the header file, and it'll just send it back out over here to the regular main file. So anyhow, I really hope this helped you and it made sense. In the next video I'm going to be making, we'll be playing a little bit more with the rectangles, and we're going to be solving for, I guess, the area of a triangle that's outside of that's circumscribing a rectangle. So, all right, hope you enjoyed the video, and good luck in your classes.